Welcome to the Sales Hunter podcast. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and it's great for me now to be able to bring you 2 episodes a week. Each Thursday, you get the interview where I interview a leading person in the sales community. And on Mondays, you get a quick, down and dirty sales tip insight on me. And hey, right now, I want to say it all comes together because we want to thank you. Calendly. Hey, when it comes to closing deals, Calendly knows how important maintaining momentum is for your sales team. Calendly provides the automation you need to connect with your best leads faster and schedule every meeting throughout your sales cycle. Prevent scheduling delays that stall deals and let your team focus on what they do best, driving revenue. Hey, check out the demo. I've got it in the comments section below. Check it out. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, again, the Sales Hunter. And what are we talking about here today? We're talking about prospecting using the telephone. Yes, it works great. I can't stress that enough. Now, here's why. Here's why I stress this so much. It's very simply because of this. Hey, it works in conjunction with other tools. Don't think the telephone is the only. This is the reason so many salespeople struggle using the telephone, is because they put too much emphasis on, or they think, well, it doesn't work because nobody answers the phone. The telephone is one of the tools in your toolbox. It's not the tool. Now, let's back up the bus here a little bit. And remember, the reason as to why you're making a call, because if you have the ability to help someone, then it's your responsibility to reach out to them. I can't stress that enough. Now, I'm fully aware they don't know me when I call somebody, okay? I'm fully aware that they don't know how I can help them. I understand that. That's why I'm calling them, and that's why I know I'll be interrupting them because, hey, they don't know I can help them until I talk with them. Now, let's get serious about using the telephone to prospect with, because here's the deal. I see too many salespeople. What they do is they make a couple of calls and the person doesn't pick up, the person doesn't respond. So they think, oh, they're not interested. No, the only thing it means is you can't give up. The challenge with the telephone, like any prospecting tool, is you cannot sit there and allow yourself to make assumptions. Okay, now let's break this down and let's share some strategies, share some ideas as to how to make the telephone work. First of all, there are people who say that the telephone doesn't work. Okay, now I hopefully I beat that in because I believe it does. Hey, okay, the telephone may not work as well as it used to, but you know what? Neither does email. I hate to tell you that. Hey, my feeling is the phone is an excellent tool when used in conjunction with other prospecting tools. That's why I say it's part of your toolbox. Now, remember, when you are using the telephone, you have to remember the power of a single call. Think about this for a moment. Think of a single conversation, a 2-minute phone call. You know, you're going to cover more information. You're going to exchange more insights in those 2 minutes than you will do in the course of 5 or 6 emails over the course of several weeks. See, this is where the value of the phone call comes into play. And it also allows you to get your personality through. This is why so many people listen to my podcast, because they say, Mark, you're engaging, you have a personality. See, oh, guess what? The telephone allows you to have your personality. But you also got to understand what does the telephone do and what does it not do. First of all, the objective of the phone call is to establish a connection. Okay. Now, in a perfect world, there's 3 things I'm going to get out of a phone call. I call you, you answer. I'm going to learn one piece of information about you. I'm going to begin to build respect with you and rapport, and I'm going to secure a next step. Those are my 3 objectives from a perfect sales call. Now, if I'm in a really short cycle where it's a 1-call close, okay, I want to close. But most of you listening to this are not in a short sales cycle. It may be 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 conversations that it takes to actually close a sale. See, now here's the whole deal. My whole objective is to get you in a conversation. Now, we're going to spend time in future Sales Hunter podcast episodes where I'll break down voicemail and I'll break down gatekeeper and I'll break down things. What I'm talking about right now today is the phone call and getting you to answer it. Okay. So now, regardless of what happens to the call, my goal is to earn the right, the privilege, honor, and respect to reach out to you again. Okay. Now, I know some of you are saying, what happens when they say, hey, don't call me back again, or we're good, we don't need you, never, ever call this number again, or anything else like that. Okay. I'm cool with that. But here's the deal. Don't take that type of response as being permanent. Don't take no as being permanent. If you've got kids, you know what I'm talking about, right? How many times have you had to tell your kids no, and they come back and they ask you again? Yeah. You see, I hear no, and I get no's. I get no. I get pushbacks. Hey, we're not interested. We're fine. We're fine. But you know what I'm still going to do? I'm still going to call them back when I have a new insight to share with them. See, so don't ever stop and think about this. Now, I want to come back and I want to close out this whole piece in terms of saying, okay, what happens? What happens if the person sits there and says, hey, they don't answer my calls. I'm not getting anywhere. See, you got to have part of a cadence. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to create the phone in conjunction with a cadence. And it's generally going to be email. Now, you may be in an industry that you can leverage text or WhatsApp messaging or any other tools. I totally understand. Fine. My preferred strategy is the email, because the type of industries I am calling into and I work with companies, it tends to be telephone with phone call, voicemail, email. Okay. So here's the whole deal. Okay. My preferred strategy is I'm going to call you. And if I don't get you to answer, I'm going to leave you a voicemail. And then 2 days later, I'm going to call you again. If you don't answer, I'm going to leave you another voicemail. A couple of days later, and the time in between phone calls is going to vary. The further up you are in the food chain, in other words, the closer you are to the C-suite, the longer the time must be in between. The lower you are in an organization, the more frequent your calls can be. Same thing is said as to whether or not what you're selling is a frequent purchase or an infrequent purchase. Okay. So some of these times are going to vary, but it's on the third phone call that I make to you that I leave a voicemail. Then I also send you an email. So I'm going to call, you don't answer, I leave a voicemail, and there's a huge strategy around voicemails. Don't sit there and leave a 30-second voicemail. That is just stupid. That is dumb. That's dumb. It's quick. It's 12, 14-second voicemail. Again, I'll go through that in a later podcast. But here's the whole deal. Your key is to, after the third time, you're calling, you're leaving a voicemail, you're sending an email, anywhere between 10, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later. I don't, whatever works for your system is fine. It's good. But here's the thing. Don't repeat the same message over and over again. Don't repeat. I see too many people, what they do is they call somebody 5, 6 times and they repeat the exact same message. They send them 5, 6 emails and they send them the exact same message. The only thing is I want to bounce this to the top of your list, or I'm checking in to see if you've had a chance to read this, or whatever it is. Oh, that drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. I can't stand that. Yeah. Here's the whole deal. Here's the whole thing. You have to be able to leave with them a different message. Now, the voicemail and email that you're sending at the same time can be virtually the same message. I mean, you're going to kind of word it a little bit differently. And again, I'll break these down in future calls. But it's key that you have different messages. Now, hey, I want to take 1 second here real quick to thank the great people at Calendly for their sponsorship. If you're ready to get control of your calendar and book more high-value meetings, time to get started. Check out the link in the show notes, and hey, you can get your free demo of Calendly. Now, here's the whole deal. When you do get them on the phone, or you get a voicemail, let's just put voicemail aside, get them on the phone. You don't start off by going through a lengthy introduction of yourself. You're going to lose. Hey, remember, you're interrupting them. And guess what? If you start blabbering about your name and who you work for, they're going to have one impression about you. And it's not pretty. Okay. It's not pretty. The key is to start off quickly engaging them with a question or statement that's relevant to their business. This is key. It's relevant to their business or about what they do or who they are. You see, you've got about 4 seconds, and I almost think it's maybe 3 or 2 seconds that you've got to engage them. Don't waste it by saying, "Hi, I'm Mark Hunter, the sales hunter." And no, 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 no. What I want to do is I want to embrace them with a question. Hey, how many times are you having to close deals at a discount in order to get the order? That's a great see to me. Wow, yeah, yeah. See, I that's one of the things I'm working on. Hey, how are you doing in reaching prospects? What's the best technique you found? And you know what I found is if I can ask and use the word opinion in the first 10, 15 seconds, I've hooked them. You see, I'm starting off with that, and then I'm saying, hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the sales center. I work with companies a lot like yours to help them achieve success in maximizing their price or finding better prospects. See, I start off with the question, the statement that engages them, that gets them going. Because remember, my objective is this has got to be a two-way conversation. Because my objective is I want to get you to share with me a piece of information, and then I want to be able to say, hey, you know what? I know I'm catching you at a bad time. How's your calendar look this afternoon at 2 o'clock or tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock? Your call to action is immediately to sit there and say, hey, reach out. Let's get a meeting set up. I know I'm catching you at a bad time. Now, they may say, you may be able to engage them in a conversation. Great. If you can, go for it. Go for it. But chances are you can't. But don't sit there and say, what's your calendar look like next week or 2 weeks from now? No. I literally catch up. What's it look like this afternoon if I'm calling them in the morning or tomorrow morning? I give them a specific time. They say, no, that's not going to work. Then I say, hey, how about 2? And I recommend a different time. Only after the second time do I then say, hey, what looks good on your calendar for tomorrow? I keep them to a narrow window because it's important to get that. Now, we're going to be breaking this down into a host of additional videos for you. Additional podcasts for you. And I just love this. But here's the whole deal. I really want you. I want you to grab. I've got an ebook, and I'm going to put it in the notes. And it's a new ebook that we just put together, and it's on prospecting. Go ahead and pick it up, would you? Grab it, download. It's like 34 pages. I told my team, I said, this is too long. This is too big. But it's 34 pages, and it's packed with stuff. So anyway, you'll see it in the show notes there. Grab it, get a copy of it. Hey, with that, I want to say thank you for listening, and thank you, Calendly, for sponsoring today's show and continuing to help sales teams focus on driving revenue, prevent scheduling delays that stall deals, and let your team focus on what they do best, driving revenue. Get your copy of it. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Subscribe and rate the show, would you? Each Thursday, new episode with a leading sales expert. Each Monday, new show with me, just like this, sharing with you some content. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.